Guys, I'm coming back at one last part officially for the last two episodes for the season 6 review. So I'm just gonna finish this up because it's not gonna be too long of a video. Episode 21, I believe, is Let It Bleed. This is where Crowley captured Ben and Lisa, and Dean just goes crazy and tries to look for them. And Bobby's on his own investigation where he has to find something about L. Ron Hubbard or something. Or no, Lovecraft, H.P. Lovecraft. I'm sorry, why did I say L. Ron Hubbard? I apologize for that. This episode was pretty good. And Castiel tries to help Dean as best as he can. And he's like, no, I don't need your help. He's like, don't you have someone to report to? And then he just runs away after that. And then, this episode, Crowley's just trying to make sure that Castiel's still on his team or whatever. It's like, you can't have a relationship with them if you gotta do what you gotta do. And yeah. But he kind of yells out, fine, go find freaking purgatory or whatever. Or something. And then they do eventually, they get help from Balthazar or whatever. And Balthazar does ask Castiel if he's really doing that, and he's like, are you serious? So, sorry about that. So Balthazar secretly helps the Winchesters, so he's playing both sides. He's with Castiel, but mostly he's with Sam and Dean, because he knows Castiel's just lost his shit. And for him to suck up all those souls in purgatory, it's not a good idea. And yeah, he's just like, but it's the only way I can defeat Raphael. And yeah. But Sam and Dean do get help from Balthazar just to track them, Lisa and Ben, and they find them. And unfortunately, Lisa's possessed by a demon. And she actually has Ben with him as well. And she pulls Ben away at right when Dean's about to say, okay, let's go, and then pulls him away, and then actually stabs herself in the stomach. She's like, now she can't live at all. Or, no, you can't have her at all. And he's just really upset, Dean, and all that, and they do exorcise the demon, but at the own risk of Lisa getting close to death. So they have to take her to the hospital after that. Sam kind of got knocked out by a demon or something like that. And they have to go to the hospital after that just to make sure they get Lisa there in time before she, goes. Before she passes off. Or before she dies. Sorry, I'm saying the wrong fucking shit. But yeah, they kind of have to erase her memory and Ben's as well, and make sure, and they kind of lie and say that she was in a car accident, and Dean was the driver that hit them, and he's like, I just wanted to make sure you guys were okay. He's like, we're fine. And yeah. So Dean was pretty in tears after that. And then Sam's like, I'm sorry this happened. He's like, if you ever mention Lisa and Ben again, I'll break your nose. Because he didn't want to do that, but that was the hardest thing he had to do. And episode 21 is getting a 5 out of 5. Episode 22, The Man Who Knew Too Much. Yeah. This is where Castiel sends, at the end of episode 21, it shows Bobby after that running into the thing, his ex or whatever that helped him, Sam and Dean, out with the dragons, and she's the one that came from that portal or whatever, so she came from purgatory. And yeah, Castiel finds her and gets any information from her and steals her blood just so they have the spell to do it. And then you see her in an alleyway or whatever, sitting down beside a dumpster, bleeding out from her stomach. And then Cassis appears and is like, "Oh, you did this to her?" And he's like, Bobby's like, "You stupid son of a bitch, I'll kill you," and all that kind of reaction. And yeah, he's like, Cass is like, "I know what I'm doing." He's like, this is not the way. And Cass doesn't listen. So he just breaks Sam's wall and puts him in a coma. So he split Sam up into 3 parts. His soul one, his soulless part, and the one who remembered hell. So Sam's just forgotten who he was, and he ran into this chick that he actually killed when this monster was about to kill her or whatever. And she's been helping him remember, and he's like, "I don't remember who I am." But he was running from the cops or whatever in the beginning. And then he finds out that he's a hunter. Then he knows Bobby Singer. And then he goes to North Dakota just to find answers. And then he runs into his soulless side, and on the way he gets stopped by his soulless side. And then he actually kills his soulless half in the woods or whatever. And he's like, since you dealt with me, you're not gonna like the other guy. But yeah, the other one is where he's at Bobby's house after it shows the chick that helped him out fade away, and she's like, "Oh, you remember now?" And he's like, "I'm so sorry about that." She's like, "It's all your fault," and all that. So yeah, after that, he goes to Bobby's house and he sees the other part of him, the one that remembers hell, and he's all burned up and everything. And he's like, "You don't want to do that." I'm like, "Well, Humpty Dumpty's got to put himself back together again." So he does, and he's like, "Good luck. You're really gonna need it." So he kills his one who remembers hell's half of him, and then he wakes up and remembers almost everything. And then Sam's wall keeps coming down or whatever, so pretty much he remembers everything from hell. And let's see, I think he goes to help Sam and Dean. He goes to help Dean and Bobby. I'm sorry if I'm getting my names wrong. So Sam runs into them at the factory or something where it's all going down, where Castiel's gonna release the souls from purgatory and open the portal so he could suck it all into himself. Then he kills Balthazar, sadly, because he knows he's helping the Winchesters. And then Crowley shows up, and he's like, "I'm the one that's gonna do it." And he's like, "Flee or die." And then he said it again, "Flee or die." And then he's like, "You can't trust anyone these days." And he runs away. And then he comes back with Raphael because he wanted to backstab Castiel and screw him over. And Raphael's like, "The only one who's getting those souls is me." And they open the portal, but they get the wrong blood. So, yeah. Castiel, I think, did that or whatever. and he kind of became the new god. And he just snapped his fingers and blew Raphael away. And Crowley ran. So, no, he said before Raphael died, the demon I have plans for, you, I don't. So he wasted Raphael. And then it showed Dean and Bobby there. And it's like, okay, you got what you wanted. Now can you put those souls back? And he's like, no. And then Sam stabs him in the back, and that's where he says at the end, he gets a little pissed at Sam, and he's like, I'm your new god. You will, stand down and worship me, or whatever, or I will destroy you. And that's the end of the season. Episode 22 is getting a 5 out of 5. I think this season had its run of iffy episodes and decent episodes and pretty good episodes. So it's not a bad season. I'm giving this an 8 out of 10 this season. Season 6 starts to do a little okay. But it's not a bad season. It's worth the purchase. It's after the apocalypse season, so yeah, there's a few messy parts in this season where they screwed up a little, but not to the point where it's bad. So comment below, let me know your thoughts on season 6 of Supernatural. I'm giving this an 8 out of 10. I will return sometime tonight for the Five Finger Death Punch War is the Answer album review. Stay tuned for that, and I'll see you in the next video.